generation of greats is dying a death before our eyes. The next generation is here. What is the Jazz generation? It's next on Locked on Jazz. Bum 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 bum. Pow.
You are Locked on Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network. Your team every day.
How are you? I'm David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz, Jazz NBA insider. This is Locked on Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz, giving you insight, expertise, geeky numbers, and hopefully making it way better to be a Jazz fan each and every day. Thank you so much for making Locked on Jazz your first listen of the day. We are free and available on all podcasting apps as well as on YouTube. And we appreciate all you everydayers that tune in each and every day. For those of you watching on YouTube, I'm fiddling with everything. I'm having all sorts of like audio, sound, video issues. So an uncomfortable start for the day for me. All right, coming up on today's show, I don't even know hopefully I said who I am. I'm David Locke. I think you know that. Radio voice of the Jazz. And this is Locked on Jazz. Today's show, by the way, is brought to you by our friends over at Game Time. Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. On today's show, as always, we'll look at a Trends Monday, which implies that March basketball, which is just the wackiest thing, has some value. We'll play a little fun game called Vodka, Author, or NBA Player in honor of last night's Charlotte Hornets New Orleans Pelicans game. We'll talk about where the Jazz are after losses on Friday and Saturday. Kind of let go of the rope again on Denver. I'm not sure that that's going to be kind of my point. I'm not sure that we're not just there. And we play tonight in Charlotte in an interesting game, and then to Houston, and then to Indiana, and then to Atlanta before we wrap up this road trip. Last night, and I don't know if this was particularly symbolic. I was listening to NBA Game Night this morning with Danny Cunningham and Swipa. If you have not started listening to that show every day, it's pretty great. It's a recap of the night before. To some extent, last night to me, and this has been going on for a while, seemed to me to be like a symbolic end of a generation. I do think in the NBA, I do think that the Olympics were the final salvo for a generation of players that we have followed and loved for a long time, in Steph and LeBron and the rest. And maybe we'll see, but Milwaukee's dead. Giannis last night has 31. Milwaukee allows 145 points. I know it's March basketball, but Milwaukee's suddenly lost 4 in a row. They're not a title contender. Giannis's time in Milwaukee is probably over. Like, that thing's over in Milwaukee. Phoenix, Durant turns an ankle. Did he just play his final game as a Phoenix Sun? Not that it matters, but also Durant is kind of probably over. Steph Curry and LeBron James are amazing, and maybe they make one at 36. I think Durant's over. Like, the body has really, truly never come back from that Achilles and been able to stay healthy. LeBron and Steph are still amazing, but I don't think anyone's really looking at the Golden State Warriors or a LeBron-led Los Angeles Lakers and thinking to themselves, they're going to make a run. I know the Jimmy Butler edition is cute. If Golden State gets Houston in the first round, I'll take Golden State, but I'm not taking them like on a run. The next generation is here. It's taking some time. It's not happening in a blink of an eye, but the next generation is here. I'll touch on that. But why it's important and why I'm mentioning it on Locked on Jazz is because when you start to contemplate who the Jazz are and where the Jazz are, we're the next generation. Right? We're not trying to build a team anymore that's able to handle LeBron and Steph and Giannis and Embiid And I'm probably forgetting someone. Kawhi, probably. The next generation's here. Excuse me. Shai's 26. They'll be in the Western Conference Finals. They'll likely be playing 23-year-old Anthony Edwards in the Western Conference Finals. Unless they're playing 26-year-old Luka Doncic. 27-year-old Jayson Tatum will be playing 28-year-old Donovan Mitchell. And then there's the lingering group behind, which is Cade Cunningham at 23. I just don't quite have Jalen Brunson in that group, but he's 28. And then there's this great MVP, Nikola Jokic, unbelievable player, sitting at 30. And Giannis is still sitting at 30. And Giannis is better this year than he's ever been. So maybe Giannis gets into a different situation, different circumstance out of Milwaukee, and he makes one more run. And we still have a Jokic-Giannis generation in the middle here. There's kind of a gap of players, right? Like, unless I'm forgetting someone, that 30-year-old player, it doesn't seem to, like, it's probably supposed to be Embiid. It's probably supposed to be, I don't know how old Devin Booker is at this point, but I would say this has been a colossal disappointment from Devin Booker in his next step. Devin Booker's 28. He's in that other group. So, to me, when we look at the Jazz and you start to try to, like, we're going to have the team that's ready when Shai and Tatum and Donovan and maybe Luka start to phase out the way Giannis and Durant and LeBron and Steph and Embiid are phasing out. It's a long time. But that's the reality. You win at 27 and 28 in this league. By the time those guys are 34 and 35 is when the next generation comes. Now, Ant's probably going to be a part of that still. He'll be at 30. Ant and Cade Cunningham will be at the Giannis Jokic spot of 30 when we're trying to be good with Cooper Flagg and whoever else we get the next year. Oh, we're manifesting it. But that's the reality. We're watching these generations of lines, stratifications. If you're a backcountry skier, like you're cutting the avalanche thing and you're seeing the stratification lines that exist. And one of ours is sliding by the wayside. A great one. And it's been wonderful to last for as long as possible. And then the next one is here. And this is really going to be their playoff. There's a real chance that we hit the final four of the NBA playoffs without Steph, without LeBron, without Durant, without Giannis, maybe without Jokic, without Embiid. Like a whole change of guard. To Tatum and Shai and Ant and Donovan. And Donovan feels like a jump to put him there. But he's the best player on the team that just won 60 games. So it's interesting to me as we get ready, as we watch the Jazz go through this, like, what is this timetable we're playing? That's our timetable. Like, our timetable is we have to wait out Shai, Tatum, Donovan, and Luka. And Luka's only 26. Shai's only 26, but that's what you're waiting out. Cade's 23. Wemby's going to be in there, that next generation. Ant's in that next generation below that, like that little group below that. Part of that same generation of stars that's carrying this league, but that's who we're going to fight. Let's play a little game. Vodka, author, or NBA player? It's next on Locked On Jazz. Today's edition of Locked On Jazz is brought to you by Murdoch Chevy, located in Woods Cross, also in Logan. The Chevy truck, it's Americana, right? The Silverado and the Colorado, best-made trucks on the land. And Chevy is everything America's about. The Murdochs are everything Utah's about. It's Utah, it's Americana, it's combined. It's a perfect story, and it's all at Murdoch Chevy, located in Woods Cross, also in Logan. You've got the SUVs, you got the Suburban and the Tahoe. You've got the Equinox, the Blazer, and you've got the Volt. All at Murdoch Chevy. Stop by in Woods Cross or in Logan. If you're going to stop by, please email me first at dlock09@gmail.com. That's dlock09@gmail.com. Let's make sure we give you the VIP experience you deserve over at Murdoch Chevy. Great deals going on right now as well for you to take advantage of. Go check it all out at Murdoch Chevy and murdochchevy.com to see the deals. Stop by. Email me first at dlock09@gmail.com. Today's show is also brought to you by Game Time. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $20 off your first purchase. I was looking at Game Time last night. I was thinking about going to a theater. They have Parade, which is a Tony Award-winning show. It's now traveling. I was here in Charlotte, looked at it last night, ended up going out to Indian food instead, but that was right there. Game Time app, deciding what I was going to do. There's nothing like watching a live event, whether it's basketball, theater, whatever it is, the energy of the crowd, the sound of the rustling of all the excitement. If it's a ball game, it's the sneakers on the hardwood. If it's celebrity siding courtside, if you want to catch the game in person, Game Time makes getting tickets easier than ever. Game Time's new feature, Game Time Pick, filters out the fluff, shows you only the best deals on great seats, and so you don't have to waste time scrolling through thousands of tickets. Easy ticket shopping. Check the Game Time app. Amazing deals. Some huge matchups coming up. I was checking to see if there might have been some other concerts. There was a comedy show in Denver the other night. I was on Game Time for that. Super Game Time picks, even super deals, giving you the best bang for the buck. Peace of mind with seat views before you buy, no surprise fees, lowest price guarantee. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem Locked On NBA, LOCKEDON NBA for $20 off. Download the Game Time app. What time is it? My friends, it's game time. Thanks so much for making Locked On Jazz your first listen of the day. We are free and available on all podcasting apps. All right, let's have fun. This is not the hard-hitting, usual stuff that you expect from me. But let's play a little game. These are the following players that closed the game in the final 5 minutes of the Charlotte Hornets New Orleans Pelicans game last night. Now, it changed a little bit down the stretch, but these were the players that were on the floor for each team. And I want you to tell me whether these players are an NBA player. I guess I'm kind of giving it away. A Vodka or an author. The New Orleans Pelicans, I feel like I should put in fake names here to really play this game the right way. Had Antonio, and then also, let's play the other game. Can you say three things about these players? Because I couldn't last night. Antonio Reeves. That is not Austin Reeves. That is not a distant cousin. Antonio Reeves. NBA player. Jose Alvarado. Maybe a hard alcohol. Elfrid Payton. Certainly an author. Carlo Matkovic. Certainly a vodka. James Earl Jones. An actor. But Jeremiah Robinson Earl was on the floor. And they really took the cake when they went to Keon Brooks Jr. You had no idea. Politician? No idea. I mean, I can tell you now, because I researched him last night. That was on the Pelicans. The Hornets last night finished the game. DeQuan Jeffries, certainly a philosopher. KJ Simpson. Tajan Salon, maybe a vodka. Nick Smith Jr., certainly an author. And Moussa Diabate. And Charlotte accomplished the goal with the Pelicans winning 98-94. I'm watching that last night. And first of all, I think in 3 years, Tajon Salon will still be under contract, so should still be in the league. And that might be it. Kelly Olynyk did touch the floor kind of at the very end. Bruce Brown, who is proving that playing with Nikola Jokic really matters, going 1 for 8 again last night, did touch the floor at the end for New Orleans. Bruce Brown, playing without Jokic, now shoots 42% from the field and 33% from three. It made me wonder a little bit of whether the evaluation period is over. I said this a while back. I said that like Keontae had the most important 20 games of the year because the final 7 to 10 get pretty squirrely. We might be at that point, particularly tonight. Now, there is some value to like playing guys that you're better than. Like, I feel for our guys because if you go back and look at our last sequence of games, Denver, Memphis, Houston, Cleveland, Boston, like if you took the starting fives each night and you just took a draft, right? Like I'm taking Jokic over, well, Walker didn't even start last night, over Oscar Tshiebwe, certainly. I mean, what a mismatch. It's kind of unfair. I'm taking Aaron Gordon over whomever. I'm taking Jamal Murray if he had played over whomever. I'm taking, I'm taking Christian Brown. Like Cleveland, you're taking all 5 starters. Boston, you're taking all 5 starters. Houston, you're taking all 5 starters. Memphis, you're taking all 5 stars. Our guys are going up against guys that are better than them at this stage, more mature, better than them every single night. Tonight, at least, if you're Isaiah Collier and you're Keontae George and you're Kyle Filipowski and you're going out there tonight, you're at least going up against guys and you're probably better. You might actually be better than they are. Like Isaiah Collier better be better than Nick Smith. Nick Smith is not trending in the right direction for his NBA career. Former late first round draft pick out of Arkansas. It's not going great. Now, frankly, played 35 minutes last night. He had a bunch of points. But he's also shooting 39% from the field and 34% from three, which, like Isaiah would take right now. So maybe not. I thought there was something interesting at practice yesterday that Will Hardy did, and I don't know if he did this intentionally, but if he did, it's pretty smart. This is I feel like this is like the impossible job that Will Hardy has right now. I actually think he probably deserves Coach of the Year. No, I'm totally serious. The trying to get the most out of these guys in a unique environment, continuing to get their development, reminding them that, while it does seem funky around you, this is your opportunity to prove to the rest of the league and your value. You're not established yet. Let's not be 20 years old, 21 years old and be distracted by the surroundings. Whoa. Hard ask. So he came down really hard on him after the Memphis game. I think that's his last salvo of the year. I don't think you'll see that again. I don't think he has another one of those in him, nor is there any value. Turn around and run these guys for a 2.5-hour practice, and they're going to be looking at you like, what's going on here? John's got a sprained ankle. Lowry's out for personal reasons. Walker's got sick now, is returned to conditioning out tonight. Why am I going for 2.5 hours in a practice? You're not getting that out of him right now. What he did yesterday I thought was interesting is we had a pretty hardcore scrimmage. And Keontae hits a game winner. And it was close. It was fun. It was close. Coaches were coaching it up. Scott Morrison was on one sideline coaching hard. And Keontae hits a game winner, and it gave at least half the guys the thrill of winning again. And I don't know if that was the purpose of that scrimmage. I don't know if it was a good evaluation time. Maybe that's the best evaluation you're going to get. I would say that one thought I had while watching was the unfortunate thing about not being a very good team is you scrimmage yourself. But that's the reality. But it was pretty. Keontae hits a big-time three on the left side to win it. And also they played a late-game circumstances, which they haven't done much of recently. And Keontae hits it, and everyone's fired up, and everyone's going, like, it was definitely, like, reminding the guys the environment of winning. Practice closed with Taylor Hendrick. Like, you had to make 2 free throws in a row to end practice. Otherwise, they were running up and backs. And the fact of the matter is, like, Will wants to end practice at this point. He doesn't want them to run. And a few guys missed, and so they brought Taylor off the side. And Taylor buried both free throws, and everyone got all fired up. There was a funny moment where Bryce, like, runs toward him, and everyone's like, no, don't hit Taylor. So, I mean, Will's doing an amazing job of bringing back some of the energy and the excitement and keeping this fun. And I thought that was an interesting moment last night where maybe he tried to create the environment of winning again to give them that joy and remind them of, like, hey, this is why you play and this is fun. And Key hits the three and was all geeked up, and it's pretty cool. But it is, as I play the point of Vodka author NBA player, and maybe it won't be. We play Houston coming up. They're in a battle. We'll see Indiana. I just feel as though right now, like, let's just give our guys some grace. I guess that's what I'm asking. Like, on one level, yeah, they need to be proven who they are as NBA players still, and they're not established. On the other level, like when we play Houston, who's 49-26 coming up here, and Houston trying to guarantee themselves a 2 spot and well on their way, yeah, all 5 of their starters are better than ours. When we go to Indiana, who's 43-31, and they're trying to secure their 4 spot and well on their way, probably all 5 of their starters are better than ours. Atlanta, maybe not, but Atlanta's somehow 36-38. I do not know how Quinn Snyder has that team near 500. They're 4 games back from Milwaukee. I don't think they're going to catch them at 6, but they're certainly have clinched a play-in, and they certainly have a home court in the play-in over Orlando. That matters. They'll get thumped by Boston in 4, but that's where they're lining up right now. And when we come back, I'm not entirely sure who we have. If I'm being 100% transparent, I'm just trying to get home. So I just think that's the one thought I have on this is enjoy the final 7 games or whatever we have of the season. We may have crossed out of the evaluation period of time. Trends Monday next on Locked on Jazz. Okay, every Monday we like to look at the last 10 games of the NBA season. This is obviously a funky time of year. Who's clicking in, who's ready to go, and then we look at the last 2 weeks as well. And, you know, I do think, in honesty, March is funky basketball. If you're listening to Matt Moore on Locked on NBA, he's let you know every single day that it's really wonky. But it does tell us a little bit. Right now, the LA Clippers are the hottest team in the NBA. They're the best net rating at 14.3. Amazingly, Oklahoma City is still at 14. Boston is at 12. Minnesota, who I still think is the second best team in the West, is at 12. If you look at dunks and threes, which is Taylor Schnarr's site that does a really nice job of kind of evaluating teams and players in a manner, Minnesota comes out as the 5th best team in the league. The Clippers come out as the 4th best team in the league, by the way. These ratings are predictive based on how they're playing, aggregate of estimated plus minus. They also value your schedule. They kind of look 7-game moving average. So Thunder are 1, Celtics are 2, Cavaliers are 3, as you'd expect. Clippers are 4, Timberwolves are 5, Warriors are 6, Rockets are 7. Pretty interesting look. He also has a full strength rating, which just as teams at full strength: Thunder 1, Celtics 2, Cavaliers 3, Clippers 4, Minnesota 5, Warriors kind of right there with them. And so it's an interesting kind of, I am a believer in Minnesota. They got in the brawl last night. We'll see what the suspensions are, but they're playing really well. 5 best teams in the league right now: Clippers, Thunder, Celtics, Minnesota, Rockets, and then Chicago. 5 worst teams. Utah Jazz are the worst team in the NBA over the last 10 games. Then Charlotte, then the 76ers, then the Wizards, then the Pelicans, then the Nets. Committed to the task. The scary one is the 24th ranked team of that is Sacramento. They're not trying to be there. You should watch yesterday's Locked On Kings. The opening minute of yesterday's Locked On Kings on YouTube is the greatest thing ever. Best offensive team in the NBA the last 10 games is the Clippers, followed by the Thunder, the Celtics, the Rockets, and the Wolves. So interesting that the Rockets and the Wolves are in there. Those are not two teams you think of. Atlanta is 6th, playing with no one. I do not know how they're doing it. Worst offensive team in the league right now is the Jazz, followed by Brooklyn, Toronto. We really can't score right now, 103.5. Brooklyn, Toronto, Charlotte, Washington, and the Pelicans. So tonight is the 30th ranked offense against the 27th ranked offense in the last 10 games. Selling that one, aren't I? Best defensive team in the league over the last 10 games, the Raptors, the Magic, the Warriors, the Thunder, and the Bulls again. Teams not defending the 76ers, the Kings, the Spurs, the Hornets, and the Wizards. So that's over the last 2 weeks, last 10 games, 2 weeks. Biggest takeaways, the Clippers obviously are a little bit of a story clicking in right now. Be a little careful. Totally buying in. I have to look and see who they've played. The Kings defense, I think, is really, really noticeable there. And how Houston and Minnesota are that good offensively. If Minnesota is really this good offensively, then they are certainly the second best team in the West. I have little to no doubt of that. Over the last 2 weeks, which is a smaller period sample size than 10 games, the number one team in the league is Oklahoma City at 6-0, Boston at plus 23, and Boston. Orlando has kind of clicked in at plus 13, Clippers, Houston, and Atlanta. Bottom teams, Utah, Washington, Brooklyn, Philadelphia, Charlotte, and then Sacramento sits in there again. Number one offense over the last 2 weeks is the Clippers again. Kawhi Leonard's back. That offense is good. That's pretty interesting. Boy, they really knew something about Paul George. Give the Clippers front office credit. They knew they didn't need him, and they knew they didn't want him. Boston, Oklahoma City, Atlanta's the 4th best offense. Houston, Detroit's the 6th best. I think Isaiah Stewart's going to get a pretty healthy suspension, by the way. Worst offenses over the last 2 weeks. Brooklyn's actually worse than we are. Then Utah, Toronto, Washington, Charlotte, and New Orleans. Oklahoma City's the best defense over the last 2 weeks, followed by Toronto, Orlando again, Boston, and Golden State. It's interesting Golden State's defending that well. Worst defenses, Philadelphia, Phoenix. Woo, Phoenix. Sacramento, Utah, Washington, the Lakers, and Memphis. That may have been what cost Taylor Jenkins his job. That is today's edition of Locked On NBA, or Locked On Jazz. I was just listening to Locked On NBA. Thank you very much. We'll talk about the Charlotte. We'll be in Houston for you tomorrow, getting ready for the Rockets. We'll recap the Charlotte game tonight with Ron Boone. We'll get ready. Hope you enjoyed watching Cooper Flagg this weekend. He's really good. 14% chance, baby. Just manifest it. Have a great day. This is Locked On Jazz. We now send you the first ever 24/7 national NBA channel, Locked On NBA. If you haven't watched or listened to Locked On NBA Game Night, please do. It's over at Locked On NBA. Every game, every night.